Hello gamers and welcome! So, today it is currently the 18th of July 2025 and a certain aura have descended all over retail WoW. That in the lack of new content have shook the WoW community back to its roots, away from all the toxic Mythic Plus keys and raiding with pucks that, despite claiming to be god tier gamers, have absolutely no clue of what they're doing. Going and wiping the raid, then leaving, then making you wait even longer for the group to form that already took ages. No more. Everyone is instead chilling, laughing in Discord servers, having a drink, and guild chats all around, enjoying the mount farms. See, the aura that I'm referring to is, of course, the Collector's Bounty buff, which for a limited time gives a 10x increase drop rate on mounts, and bosses of old content drops over twice the amount of loot. So all have forgotten the modern toxic retail WoW as we know it, and are enjoying a good game of farming, what World of Warcraft is all about. Mounts and transports. But not me. I feel empty. Like the number of the mounts go up and nothing. Even the ones I've collected and wanted for a very long time, finally mine, yet no dopamine. Just a mount. Nothing special. Whether it is due to there's no more collect X amount of mounts achievements left, or that I'll keep using the same awesome ones that I already have, and is both better looking and a better flex than anything I could possibly farm from an old raid or a dungeon. But no more mindless, dopamine deserted farming. Today I start the biggest grind that I've ever undertaken. So, this was a dumb idea to begin with. But if you've ever seen my content, you knew exactly what I'm getting myself into and roping you into as well and taking along the journey. This challenge is gonna last months, many months, likely even years. But we are gonna torture ourselves along the way regardless here in hopes of achieving this dream goal of mine. See, I collected many grindy, dumb, long spawn time, achievements, mounts, titles, etc. For this mount, this damn mount, is gonna be the biggest, longest, most mind-numbingly time-consuming mount that I've ever done by far. And of course it is
Who's that Pokemon?
the Swift Spectral Tiger. And now you're probably thinking, what the fuck, Chris? You suck at farming gold. That is the most expensive thing in the entire game. And you would be right. But somebody who doesn't suck at farming gold was sliding into my Discord DMs the other day, and I hatched a plan. See, Magicus is like the richest gamer in all of World of Warcraft. And he said, hey, could you leave a link to the gold guide on your stream? And I was like, sure. What I wanted. I want full access. I want all the deeds. I want everything I need to do to get this mount. It was like, sure, fine, whatever. But why? Just why would I put myself through months, likely years of misery for this one mount? There are plenty of other spectral looking mounts in the game. But to me, this one is personal. It is back to 2007. I'm a very young one, and I was playing this game here called World of Warcraft together with my cousin, having a lot of fun when we were taking a stroll through Stormwind, and there it was. This blue, see-through, spiky tiger mount. And I was like, what the is that? That is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Granted, in my 11 years of life, I hadn't seen much at all, so the bar was pretty low. But we were sitting on Skype here with my cousin when this happened, and my cousin explained to me. It is from the trading card game. And you will never ever have it. It is one in about 8,000 packs. I believe he convinced me it was the rarity of it. Whether that holds true to this day, I don't know. But there it was. This gorgeous beautiful low polygon mount that I've seen. And my cousin that told me that I would never, ever own this beautiful mount. So with that out of the way and explained as to why we are doing this madness here, let's get started. So for our beginning here, we've done some heroic boost and it is ourselves quite a bit of gold here to the start of our auction house journey. One of the other ways that we can make a bit of stock for our auction house and income is to farm transmogs, which is why we're currently located on an island. A island expedition to be exact. This content here is from Battle of Azeroth, and there is a lot of high value items, and you can even get a few mounts and pets here as well here. So this is one of the things that we'll be looking into, but right now here I can see here doing this alone is way too boring and time consuming. Maybe when I'm like small drunk, and I'll be doing a drunk stream farming some transmog like this here. So right now here we are just gonna stick to boosting for our raw gold income. But that doesn't mean we aren't going to do other stuff. Currently, it is at the end of the season of World of Warcraft, so there aren't much demands for potions and flask making, but that is something we'll be looking into during the start of the next season. Season 3 will also be taking a look at a lot of other various ways we can make some gold. But after attaining about 500,000 gold doing boost here, I went on to the auction house and started looking for a bit of transmogs, BOEs, and pets. That could be an easy profit here. A wave of nostalgia came over me as I discovered many of the items that are now very, very rare transmog pieces are the same items that I used to farm or hope to one day acquire back in the days when the items were current and a lot easier to come by. So let's take a look at some of the interesting things that I've found so far. And the first one I actually got for free. The classic two-handed sword Destiny. I found this on an old twink priest who took over a very short-lived guild for twinks. And of course, the bank that came along with it. It had a lot of like old epic items and PoEs, which is where I found this unique sword that sells for 88,000 gold. Another item I remember from the past is these. Warcraft's Shoulder of Solidarity, which I used to have on my Death Knight that I played all those years ago back in Wrath of the Lich King. I was very lucky to come across for these for a measly 2,000 gold that I have now posted on the auction house for over 150,000 gold, which is a massive value increase of over 7,500%. This here brings me back to like the very first character that I had at max level. This is my Death Knight. I played World of Warcraft in Burning Crusade, and when the Wrath of the Lich King came out, I had literally just passed level 60. And so I never got to experience like the Burning Crusade raids and stuff, but I got to experience launch day of making a Death Knight. This was insane. There were Death Knights everywhere, and it was such a fun way to play a new class, and I got so excited. And this, just the look of this little icon here, seeing the item, brought me back to that feeling, and the feeling of like hitting 80 on my first ever character. It was amazing. The last piece of transmog gear that I found with some nostalgia that I'll cover is Freeze's Bubble Popper. A dagger from BFA or BOE. That is an intellect. But the reason why this is nostalgic to me is that I hunted this dagger. Not because I had a major hold, but because it had the greatest color of colors that transmog can have, in my opinion. It is green. It is green. Green is my favorite color. If you've ever seen my PC, you know that green is my absolute favorite color, so I had to own it. And it also had the same model as one of my favorite dagger transmogs. Had like the sleek curved dagger transmog. And I remember spending weeks looking for one on the auction house, which wasn't ludicrously overpriced. I think I paid over 20,000 gold for the transmog back then. And now I managed to scoop one up for less than half that. I've subsequently posted back to the auction house for over 60,000 gold. And now you might be sitting there thinking, these items, do they even sell at all? As far as I've talked about gold farming specialist, they do, but it does take quite a long time. The name of the game is patience, and selling transmog will take time, a lot of time. But if you carry a very large volume, you can easily speed up the process since there's no limit as to how many items you can essentially carry in your stock. More items means more sales. That's why we want to make sure we can keep items that have a big value increase. So now that I've acquired about 70 transmog items so far, and spent around 400,000 golds on them, and posted them back for around 7.2 million gold, we could keep doing that. And there's some also other things that you can do while waiting for those to sell. So a week and a half went by, and I noticed there's a pair of Mythic PoE shoulders for 500k. So I yanked them off the auction house and posted them back for 700,000 to 800,000 gold. They sell a few days later. I could likely have gotten a lot more for them, but I need a quick turnaround since I had no more gold. I still managed to make a couple 100,000 gold by buying them, and then it happened. One of my big downfalls. One of the things that makes this challenge here so hard for me. Gambling. I am a massive in-game gambling addict. Because there's no real loss. Like, it's not like I'm going to lose my house and not being able to pay the bills. So guild gambling came around. And we managed to actually make a bit of profit. So from a lucky night of guild gambling, probably not the smartest thing to participate in during this challenge. But I must say this time it was worth it. As I managed to buy 4 more BOEs. Ooh. Oh, come on. No. Ah! Yeah! For my winnings that I have posted on the auction house for around 2.5 million. Thank you very much. Pleasure playing with you.
Screw you.
And with a nice bag of gambling session coming in and a few nice flips here, let's go around and tally up all the auctions that I've posted so far to have a average outlook of how much we've actually earned here. I'll put down in the corner how much the total of all the auctions that are currently posted here on the auction house. That is not the gold that I have right now, but it's the gold that I have in value. So after a good tally and a lot of big auctions and some really nice flips here, we can see that we are ending up at over 20 million gold. And to back it off, to end this video here, I actually sold a BOE in the last week of the season. That is gonna be it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and comment all the things that I'm doing horribly wrong in gold farming. And yeah, do you think the adventure will be a success, or will our army of fairy fox people bankers fail to produce me a spectral tiger that I've always dreamed of and making my cousin right all those years back?